Please can you remind me if you'll be so kind, staring out into space, asking God to hear my case, trying to think of all things past. How long will my memory last? But purple angel, purple angel, purple angel, you're next to me.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to Alzheimer Speaks Radio. I'm your host and founder of Alzheimer Speaks, Lori LeBay. I started this company because my mom was living with dementia for 30 years, and I just felt so disconnected, and I wanted to learn more about the disease and find services and products and tools, and so that's why Alzheimer Speaks was created. Bottom line, we are an advocacy-based company providing multiple platforms to shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort around the world. We also help companies expand their brand footprint by leveraging our platforms and content to increase access to those in need. I also want to thank our audience because you guys are so loyal and so kind and so committed to dementia awareness. Your shares, your likes, your clicks of our content has just had an unbelievable impact. You see, you've gotten us recognized by Oprah as a health hero, Maria Shriver as an architect of change, Dr. Oz as the #1 influencer online for Alzheimer's disease, and most recently by AARP of Minnesota as a disruptor and an inspiring leader. And again, all of those accolades we pass on to you because we surely didn't do that alone. And it really is our work together to improve the world that is making these conversations happen, and people understanding what are some of the things they can do to live life to the fullest, even if dementia hits. So before I get started with the show and introduce our guest, I always like to give a shout out to a couple of companies. And the first one that I want to talk about is called the World Kindness USA. Actually, World Kindness is in other countries. They're in Australia, in the UK, and in Japan. But they have finally launched in the US, which is pretty dang exciting. And you can find out more information by going to worldkindnessusa.org, worldkindnessusa.org. So next, I want to give a shout out to the Alzheimer's Research and Prevention Foundation. They are near and dear to my heart as well. They do wonderful work on a holistic level. So if you're looking for information on diet and exercise and meditation, that is the place to go, and that is alzheimersprevention.org, alzheimersprevention.org. And then the memory cafes have become so popular in the US. We're now over 500 of them. And Calendar Cards, which is a memory system, has created a directory for people to be able to list their memory cafes, or for those looking for memory cafes in their area. So you can just go to memorycafedirectory.com. That's memorycafedirectory.com for more information there. And of course, you'll find information on Calendar Cards, which calendar and cards both start with a K. Last, I'm going to give a shout out to is Purple Table Reservations. This is a really cool concept. A woman whose mother had dementia, and she owned a restaurant, started having people come in with dementia, and she's created a program that she wants to train other restaurants on how to serve people better with things like dementia, post-traumatic stress, autism. And for more information, you can go to purpletables.com. That's purpletables.com. You can also make a reservation, but they are looking for more restaurants to come on board because the need is really high and they're getting a lot of requests. Well, I'm going to introduce our guest today, who I'm really excited to have with us. His name is Roy Tal, and he's a 34-year-old from Tel Aviv. And he is a social entrepreneur, a music graduate, and co-founder of Imagine, which is a nonprofit. that empowers special needs musicians, which I'd love to hear a little more on that as well. And of course, he is the founder and CEO of Together. And so, Roy, welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure and honor, Lori.
Well, I'm excited to hear about your projects. But before we get started on our line of question, I always like to ask every guest how they have been personally touched, or if they've been personally touched via some form of dementia with family or friends.
Actually, my whole story, or Together story, started with my grandmother, Shula. She was in a nursing home near Tel Aviv. And the whole story started because I wanted to be a better grandson. And I wanted to reach my grandmother more. So we saw it on a daily basis almost, where nothing touched her more than music. And really, it was something that changed my life. And I decided to dedicate my life to that purpose.
Well, that is fantastic. We're kind of similar there because I started what I'm doing because of my mom's journey. And I wanted to be a better daughter. And I found that I wasn't always as gracious as she deserved. And so I needed to hustle and find more resources out there. So that's really how Alzheimer's Speaks started too, was just wanting to improve lives. And it's so neat that you are sharing what you've learned, with the world. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Together? What exactly is it, and how did you put it together?
We put together 2 years ago. It really started from my grandmother. And when I saw that music can really make a connection between us, I said, okay, let's stop for a second. There's, from one hand, a population that really needs the connection, really suffers from loneliness, from mild cognitive impairment and Alzheimer dementia. And on the other hand, we have music, which is a natural thing, a natural, amazing thing, which really benefits people. And we started striving to reduce the loneliness in the elderly population. And if it's in one sentence, it's making two people sit together and listen to music they love. It was really mind-blowing. We started 2 years ago in a Holocaust survivors' home near Tel Aviv with 45 volunteers, 45 Holocaust survivors, and each week they sat for 45 minutes. It was really life-changing experience for both the Holocaust survivors and also the volunteers.
Wow, that's amazing. So if somebody wants to get a kit, what do they need to do? And how would they use it?
Our kit, our connection-making kit, is really made up of two main things. It's made from one, which is the technology, the app that we invented, we developed, that really helps you do three simple things. It helps you choosing the right music for the right person, which means personalized music. It helps you really record the memories that are being allocated during these sessions, really audio record with the microphone of your mobile device. And the third thing is it really helps you see the improvement in the well-being of the elderly person. It's like a blog where you put into the app which songs you heard, how many times did you meet, how were the sessions. So this is the technology side, it's the app side. In the method side, methodology side, we really try to create an environment of empathic listening. How you listen to music together, which questions do you question the elderly? How do you speak to the elderly? How do you touch? The entire method of empathic listening is really important, so the connection is really enabled.
Well, I love that you are breaking it down into the parts with the technology. Choosing the right music, I think, is extremely important, because what we like, they might not care for, might not open their heart as much. And then to be able to record, what is happening, those precious moments, to me is so special. I know we used music with my own mom and recorded some of those, and it was just amazing how she would just light up. It was the whole personality changed, and when her personality changed, mine did too. I got happier. I felt calmer inside. I felt like I was I was accomplishing something or doing good versus just doing a task. And so I love that you are focused on that connection and that relationship side and really seeing the importance of that. The empathic side, is there like instructions for people? Can you tell us a little more detail on that? Because I think that that's really an important piece that most of us forget about.
Yes. Together these days is a service. It's a service that we give to private customers, and we also give to nursing homes and daycare centers. It's a service that we give the app, and we also really give instructions. We do trainings for medical staff as well, for music therapists, for social workers, and also it's a 360-degree solution for the musical partners of the elderly, which can be a volunteer, it can be a family member, it can be a caregiver. And we really teach them how to be empathic listeners, how to use our app to do these personalized music, to create these memories, and really create moments that you reconnect using the music to your loved one.
So with the teaching of them, is it in a written form? Is it videos on YouTube? Is it one-on-one? How does that work?
We created about 52, we call it touches, where we touch you each week with a virtual training. It's usually a video by our program director. It really teaches you over time how to be, if I can say, how to be a better grandson, a better volunteer, a better listener. It's all virtual using our app. Because it's technology, we know your activity on our app and can really help you to be more advanced. If it's to record more memories, if it's really to choose the right music, to create really personalized playlist. So the entire service that we do, it's all of it, it's virtual with videos, with PDFs. It's really nice and easy.
Okay, wonderful. Now, my understanding is that Israel is really trying to reduce loneliness. Are they using your program?
Yep. I think Israel really acknowledges loneliness as a challenge in the elderly population. Like the UK has a loneliness ministry, Tracy Crouch. Israel has, also the social ministry as well. We do national programs all over Israel. We are, I think, over 150 locations where we do the together activities. It's divided into two sides. We give services to the volunteering organization, the volunteer side of it, and we also give the service to the elderly side, which can be the nursing home, daycare centers, and families as well. So all over Israel almost, and this October we will start with over 3,000 volunteers and families that will start using our service. And we are a business, but we are a business which makes a social impact. And we really, in the most honest and modest way, want to really make the world less lonely and more musical.
Well, that's fantastic. 3,000 volunteers. That's quite a little army you got going there to bring this forward. So that's really neat. Now, one of the phrases that you use is personalized music equals personalized medicine. Can you explain to our audience what you mean? I love that term, and if it's what I think it is, I'm really, really going to like it. So,
I think one of the things that we discovered in the Together journey was that music is a basic common grounds for every one of us. Each and every one of us loves music, but you can play the one particular song to an individual and to another individual, and they will react differently. And I think the process of finding the personalized music for the individual is really important. People love music, but if you put a sad song to one person, he will smile, and another, he will really cry. So we take it from the medicine world because music, we believe, is a true medicine. It's a medical device. It has therapeutic qualities to it. And I think that if you really harness the power of music to the therapeutic side of it, you can really benefit a lot, socially, cognitive, and tens of researchers speak about the power of music. And we really try to identify in Together the app, the personalized music of the individual, We do it in Israel, which is really difficult because Israel is a melting pot. You have over 30 cultures and languages were resident of the Israel population. And we really did a lot of work that in 30 seconds in our app, you can really choose 30 songs that are personalized to your taste, culture, language, or era, and you can really get it started. So like there is personalized medicine, which is really specific to your taste and your language, we can really create the same process with the music, only it's natural, it's good, it's something that everyone can enjoy.
Wow, 30 seconds, that's really a short time span. So that's fantastic. And I love how, you talk about the therapeutic value of music, because I think it's really been underappreciated by so many for so many years. And I know here in the US, people say, why can't products like this be a prescription? Because they do so much for the mind, body, and soul. And yet it's like, no, it has to be pill form in order for that prescription to happen. Over in Israel, do they pay for that under a medical process? Here our insurance, we just haven't gotten there yet.
Our challenges is trying to persuade people that music is not a luxury. It's not really something that, it's the cherry on the top. It's really something that is basic, that is needed, that really helps people. And we are trying, part of our journey together is an educational journey, trying to make people see that music needs to be in every home. People believe in it. Almost every meeting that will take place in Israel really understands that music is a basic thing and everybody enjoys it. But we really want to make music and personalized music and the entire Together app something that is really part of the basic thing that dementia and Alzheimer patients in Israel get. And we do it with the Israeli Association for Alzheimer, which is called EMDA in Israel. We are now doing a pilot with them for 100 families in Israel to give them music as a basic thing in the process.
Wow, really neat. I was just thinking about what you were saying, and I love that phrase. The music's not a luxury. I mean, it is therapeutic, and we all know that in our hearts. And how cool would it be if we could even start our children off with this? Because then we wouldn't have to gather the music. It would be in there to begin with. I just think of all the kids struggling now too, and adults as well. And if we could use that versus a pill or something, what a wonderful way to go. So yeah, I think I love that personalized music is a really personalized medicine, and that you have this ability to be able to hone in on what's going to work for an individual in such a short period of time, because that can be daunting. Are other countries getting involved with your product as well together?
We are now making our first steps out of Israel. We started 2 years ago in Israel and really making huge advancement in the Israeli ecosystem. We are now starting in the UK, in Australia, and hopefully Canada and North America. We really want to bring the music over there. We have our model really set up for nursing homes, daycare centers, and volunteering organizations to make contact with us, for us to give them the Together experience and to bring the music over to them.
So can I ask, because our listeners I'm sure are going to want to know, what does it cost? Is it a subscription or a one-time fee?
It's a yearly subscription with nursing homes, the entire B2B experience, which we do with nursing homes, daycare centers, and volunteering organizations. It's $1,500 approximately, don't catch me on my tongue, $1,500 per year for the entire location, per nursing homes, that they get the technology, they get also headphones and audio splitters, which they can use as couples. They get the trainings, they get really a yearly service, a music therapist on our behalf that is in contact with them. it's really something that we want that even after 6, 8, 10 months, people are still using. And this is why we developed it as a service, not as a shelf product that you buy and never speak to us again. We really are customer centered.
What about the individual families if they want to purchase?
We are now starting to roll it out to private customers in Israel. It will cost about $100 per individual customer for the first year, and then it will be about $20 to renew the subscription each year. And the families nowadays get from us really a kit, a hardware kit with the headphones, with the audio splitter, with an access code to use our app, which is in mobile. And also in October, we're launching the web app, also for people that want to continue listening music, even if they don't have a smartphone at home. And so it will be about $100 for private customers.
That's very reasonable. Now, in terms of finding the music, do they go through a reservoir of music that you have, or do they have to go out and find their own music?
We are really an A to Z solution. So in our app, we are based on YouTube, which also provides you with a visual context to it. It's a whole different thing only to hear Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra, or to really see them with your eyes. So the visual factor is really an important factor for us. In our app, I think one of the significant things is the musical wizard. 3 questions that we ask you as the musical partner of the elderly. One is if you have a specific language or specific style of music that you would like to hear. The next question is if you want modern music or if you want nostalgic music. And the third thing is the therapeutic value to it. If you want something that brings you up in terms of energy, we will provide you with high energy music. If you're agitated and you want something that will bring you down in terms of the energy before you go to sleep, we will bring you low energy playlist. So these 3 questions and answers will give you 30 songs that will get you started.
Okay, so if I wanted something to bring me up and put me to sleep and calm me down, can I mix those up and still have them sorted?
It looks like you used our app before. The third option, if you want high energy, then it's up. If you want low energy, you will choose low. If you don't know what you want, you can choose mix, and you will get 50 songs and 50 songs that we really mix it up for you in terms of the tempo of the songs that you will get. And the entire playlist is being saved in our app. What it means that we have customers that on Monday, the grandchildren use it with the grandfather. On Wednesday, the music therapist comes and uses it with the same individual. And on Friday, the social worker uses it with the elderly. And because they all use our app, it's a continuous process. They don't start from scratch each time they meet, and they can really interact with the elderly in a continuous journey. And because also they record the memories, and really after every session, they answer 2-3 simple questions that tell us how was your session. It's really something that can be advancement in the journey, in the well-being process of the elderly.
So when they're recording the memories, are those like video or audio? And are those shared with others that are using the app so that they can even use that like as a reminiscent thing with the person?
Yes. So our memories are being recorded with audio. We didn't embed video in the app because we want to, sometimes it's better to hear the voice than to see the person in terms of reminiscing. It's more easy. We plan on inserting also the ability to do photos, to capture these photo stills, but we do use the mobile app microphone to record the memories. And I think the beautiful and exciting and really emotional thing about it is that you can hear the memories everlasting. So it's something that stays with you even, forever. That the entire family can really log into the app and listen to the voice of the grandfather speaking about his childhood whenever they want, or listen to music that grandfather really liked. So it stays in the app. It's only visible to your eyes, to the family eyes, not to the entire users of Together, but only to the family. It's something that we want people to share with the families and really use it as in a holistic kind of way.
That's really neat. And those moments you capture are so important. I know my mom's been gone since 2014, and I still go back and I look at the video and in music that we shared together. And it just, I can be having a really bad day and it just brings me right back up going, that was a really good moment. That was really a great time. And so I don't think people totally understand the true value of capturing those moments, until they do it, because it's almost a feeling you can't describe, the calmness that it brings and the happiness and the joy of just like you said, being together and being so connected. What are your top 3 uses for the programs, and can you maybe give us an example, or because I'm sure you've heard stories from people who have used them in different fashion?
Very common uses for app is of course the family members, but if I speak to a specific family member, it will be the spouse. I won't forget this moment forever, never. When we first started, we worked in a nursing home in Tel Aviv, and I came to visit one of our customers, and the spouse sat next to the Alzheimer patient, and I put a song. It's a very famous Israeli song. It's called "When You Go Home Back from Work." This is the name of the song. And I put the headphones on the Alzheimer patient's ears and on the spouse. They listened together, and they both started crying. And I waited to the end of the song and asked the spouse, what's the story behind the song? She said, it's the first time that I see him cry for the past year. And this is why, because this is the song, me telling you about it makes me cry. This song is the song that he used to listen to every day when he was on his way to work. And the tears of happiness of his wife and the both happiness of tears was a mind-blowing experience, because a moment ago he did not recognize her, but when I put the personalized song to him and her, it was an emotional experience like I never experienced before. This is a leaps of together.
Wow, you were getting teary. I was getting teary because it's just how powerful that is when you're dealing with dementia as it progresses. You just want to cling to those moments so bad, and you think that they're gone, but they're really not. And then when they pop out, and there's such clarity and such strong connection, it's just emotionally overwhelming in a really, really good way. So that's very cool. How about, do you have any stories of maybe communities or daycare using this?
Yes, of course. We try to challenge ourselves and together to do extraordinary projects. One of the projects that we are proud of is a project that we did with 5th graders, intergenerational program in Israel that we are doing with schools. And at first we thought it's very hard to make a 5th grader to sit with an elderly person, which is not his grandfather. But he said, okay, if something will connect them together, it will be the music. And we started in one school, and it was amazing because during 45 minutes, you can imagine a classroom full of 30 5th graders sitting with 30 grandparents, but not their own, and listening to music together. And at the same moment, I told them, we witnessed this moment, but I told them, now put the songs that the children like, not a song from the past of the elderly. And it was amazing. They got up, almost the entire classroom got up and started dancing to a modern poppy song, not something from the past, but it was amazing because I think the reduction of the loneliness and happiness really takes place when it's mutual, when it's the process is mutual, and you also say something to the elderly themselves and not only hear. So this is part of the community work. Working with those volunteer organizations is really something that it's an icebreaker, because volunteer, the first time he enters an elderly house, a dementia patient house, it's very hard what to speak about, how to make the conversation more easy. But when you put songs in the background, it's really something that can ease the entire process for both parties.
Oh, I so agree. And I love the intergenerational story, because I could just see my mom loved kids. And so we would like have big gatherings, and she would be asleep. And the kids would be like crawling under the table, and none of the rest of the adults were really paying attention. And my mom would always like start to giggle about 2 seconds before they popped out. And she always, it was like she unconsciously knew where they were and was engaged with them. And then she would giggle, and then they would pop out from underneath. And that, like that connection and that respect that they had, because I think with kids, they're just, they don't have all the rules that we have. And they have all this freedom, and they just want to be inclusive and have fun. And that's joyful for any of us to watch. And that doesn't change when a person has dementia or as a person ages. I think we probably even get more joy out of it as we get older, to see that authenticity of kids playing. And so how cool is that for for the kids to be able to see the grandparents watching them and being happy and knowing that they're bringing that joy and that connection to them. I also really liked your comment about, it is hard for families or volunteers and staff sometimes to start a conversation. And music is just kind of that natural kind of unwind, rewind, let's get on common ground base. And with my own family, for example, my daughter and I would go to visit my mom, and my daughter would always bring fingernail polish, because that was an activity that she liked doing and that grandma liked doing. And I would always bring a little bottle of lotion, and I would massage her, and that worked for us. But my brothers weren't so touchy-feely, but they could push a CD in and listen to the music, and you would just see, my mom would get joyful, and you would just see a sigh of relief for them, because they were so uncomfortable in that moment of how do I communicate. And yet there's, most of our communication is nonverbal, and yet when a person gets dementia, we expect them to speak in full sentences to us, and we stop reading the nonverbals. And I think music brings out our nonverbal communication in a really easy, fun manner that I think most people aren't even conscious of. Yet it has this calming effect, or it can. I mean, if we put on the wrong song, it can stir things up too, and that's with knowing your person. So I love the stories and things that go along with this, and I highly recommend the use of music. I just think it is absolutely so powerful, and I'm glad that the way you're incorporating this, you're allowing everybody to be able to utilize it, families and businesses and people who want to volunteer and just bring richness added and remove some of that loneliness that exists, I think, worldwide. And I think it's something that definitely needs to be addressed. So that's very, very exciting.
Yes, I will be pleased. I think one of the things that I want to really emphasize, because we get asked quite a lot this question, is, but hey, I can use YouTube, I can use Spotify, I can use iTunes even. The answer is yes, you can use all of that stuff. But I think really what makes the Together program different is that we are a program, and we make music multi-directional. We help really to choose the right music, and sometimes volunteers, when they reach a person of a house, of a person they don't know, and he's 85 years old, and he came from Poland, they don't know how to go to YouTube and to choose 30 songs in Polish that really this elderly loves. So this is one of the things. The other thing is that really the capturing of memories, some moments in life, and of course with the interaction or the connection between the caregiver and the patient is hard. And we want to make something that is fun for them, that is easy for them, and something that relieves the daily efforts and daily pain for them. Is recording the memories something that stays with you, and making life mementos is really something that every family can have and they should have. So the recording of memories is something that is embedded in our program. And the other thing is we really want to make music accessible as a program for each individual that needs it. We focus on the elderly and really providing them yearly activities of music, one-on-one activities with the personalized music, and really making them happier using our program.
Well, I think that was a really good point to say, you can go to these other things and you can go ahead and grab music, but it's the structure that you provide and the insights, because, you've done this so many times. And one of the things I think that, we all have, we all have really good intentions, but it's time consuming. And if you can funnel that down and find what it is that will work for us in such a short period of time, that's a huge, huge piece. Because I think that's where we fall down sometimes, is we have really good intentions, but we run out of time or we run out of energy. And this just makes it so much easier for you to get up and running and going from there. Now, the best way for people to get a hold of you, I would imagine, would be to go to your website, which is www and then dot the number 2 and then GETHER.fun, not .com, .fun. So www.GETHER.fun. Or you can email Roy at roy@together.fun. And I'm also going to post a video, one of your YouTube videos that kind of explains this for people to be able to see on the blog and the radio page as well, because I think that will give them some more insights. But I have to say too, I love on your website, you talk about your grandma and why you started this. And to me, that just melted my heart right there, because, you're not just a person who's out trying to make money. You really are, this came from a heart spot of, I want to improve lives. And you took it and not only did it for your grandma, but you're reaching out, realizing that this is a problem worldwide that we have with loneliness and the power of music. Before we wrap up, I am just really personally interested, when I read your intro, about you are the co-founder of Imagine, that empowers special needs musicians. Would you mind sharing that with our audience too? Because my mind is spinning and I'm thinking, there's got to be a connection there too. So I would love to hear more about that and raise awareness for others on what you're doing with that as well.
Imagine, before I started Together, I co-founded together with an amazing woman called Shirley. We founded Imagine. Let's lose the together word for now. We founded Imagine, which really connects between the power of music, the gift of music, to special needs population. Imagine operates in Israel over 90 groups that meet on a weekly basis, children and adults with special needs, from Asperger autism spectrum to children in hospitals in vegetative state, and really bring music to them in the means of playing music, being a musician, really learning how to take an instrument and play, even if you are blind, even if you don't have hands, even if you have cognitive impairment, Imagine really makes it something easy and really takes these people and gives them the skills of music.
That is really, really neat. What kind of instruments do you use? Because I know a lot of times I'll see music therapists and they'll have little shakers and they're not the regular instruments. What type of instruments do you guys use with that?
They use a lot of electronic equipment, iPads, sound beams, Cougs, a lot of futuristic words of instruments to use that are designed for special needs, special education, and also more nostalgic or more standard instruments like the piano, the guitar, but in a special kind of way. Like they use a special notation system which is called figure notes, which is made from colors and shapes and really helps people that have cognitive impairments learn a new instrument and really play as an ensemble, something they did not dream before they not imagine.
Wow, that is really neat. Did you guys do anything in the US with that, or is that just over in Israel?
Imagine is only in Israel, but I believe that they will be more than happy to start things in the US. I left Imagine 4 months ago, 6 months ago, when Together really took a big part of my life, and I'm totally devoted to Together nowadays. But they are right across the hall from us and still good friends. And because I'm the co-founder, it's something that is in my heart forever. And it's really an important organization. It's an innovative organization. And really, like what we're doing together, harness the power and the gift of music to people who need it. And together we do it with listening. Imagine they do it with really creating music.
Well, I'm glad I asked you about that because there is such a huge population of developmentally disabled that also have dementia here in the US. And so that is one of the things people have been talking about. So what a neat thing to be able to combine those two pieces together. Oh gosh, got my head spinning. I'm gonna make some connections for you there on that. But very exciting work. I love what you're doing, and I love that you are a true social entrepreneur. You know, you really are looking at bettering the world, and we need more people like you out there. So thank you so much for sharing the time that you've taken with us today. I appreciate it very, very much. Any last comments that you have?
First of all, I would like to thank you because, I will pretend you're not in the room, but people like you really help people like me. I think I told you this over the phone also in our previous conversations, but we try to make the world a better place, and you really help us make it happen. So thank you for your time, for hosting me. And I really want to approach people that hear us, that do work with the elderly, with dementia, with Alzheimer's. Contact us. We can really help you bring the music to your facilities, whether it's a volunteering organization or nursing homes. We would like to meet you and spread to the USA.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again so much for your time with us today, Roy. I really appreciate all you're doing, and I can't wait to get this out and share it with everybody. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Lori.